In 1911, explorers nearly froze to death trying to cross this frozen continent. Today, scientists come here to prepare for missions to Mars. The place is the same. The purpose has changed. Welcome to the McMurdo Dry Valleys, the most Mars-like landscape on Earth. Hidden within the vast white expanse of Antarctica lies a place that defies everything we think we know about the continent. Antarctica is supposed to be a world of endless ice, towering glaciers, and blinding snowstorms. Yet, in the McMurdo Dry Valleys, there is almost no snow, no flowing rivers, no forests, no wildlife roaming the land. Instead, there is bare rock, frozen soil, and a silence so complete it feels extraterrestrial. Located west of McMurdo Sound, near the Ross Sea, the Dry Valleys stretch across roughly 4,800 square kilometers. They form the largest ice-free region in Antarctica. Surrounded by massive glaciers and the towering transantarctic mountains, these valleys remain astonishingly barren year after year. The story of their discovery begins during the heroic age of Antarctic exploration. In 1901, Captain Robert Falcon Scott led the British National Antarctic Expedition aboard the RRS Discovery. While charting unknown territories, members of his team ventured inland and stumbled upon something impossible: valleys without snow. At first, they believed it to be temporary. Perhaps the wind had simply blown the snow away. But further exploration revealed that these valleys had likely remained largely ice-free for millions of years. In a continent defined by ice sheets nearly 2 miles thick, the McMurdo Dry Valleys were an anomaly. The secret behind their existence lies in one of the most powerful forces in Antarctica: katabatic winds. These gravity-driven winds descend from the polar plateau at speeds that can exceed 200 miles per hour. As they rush downward, they warm slightly through compression and evaporate moisture. Snow that falls here is quickly blasted away or sublimated directly into vapor. The result is an environment so dry that it receives less than 4 inches of precipitation annually, technically qualifying it as one of the driest deserts on Earth. Yes, a desert in Antarctica. Unlike the Sahara, however, this desert is cold beyond imagination. Winter temperatures can plunge below -60 degrees Fahrenheit. Even in summer, the air rarely rises above freezing. The ground itself is permanently frozen permafrost, locked solid for thousands of years. One of the most haunting features of the region is Lake Vanda, Lake Bonney, and the infamous Blood Falls. Blood Falls, discovered in 1911 by Australian geologist Griffith Taylor, appears as a crimson stain flowing from the Taylor Glacier. For decades, scientists were puzzled by the eerie red color. Some thought it might be algae. Others speculated mineral contamination. It was eventually discovered that the color comes from iron-rich brine trapped beneath the glacier for millions of years. When the iron contacts oxygen at the surface, it oxidizes, essentially rusting, and turns blood red against the white ice. The dry valleys are not entirely lifeless. Beneath rocks and within the frozen soils, scientists have discovered extremophiles, microorganisms capable of surviving in brutal conditions. Simple algae grow during brief summer thaws. Microbes endure intense ultraviolet radiation, sub-zero temperatures, and severe dehydration. These organisms do not just survive, they adapt in ways that challenge our understanding of biology. This is precisely why NASA and other space agencies are fascinated by the McMurdo Dry Valleys. The environment bears striking similarities to Mars: extreme cold, aridity, high radiation exposure, and minimal organic life. Instruments designed to search for life on Mars are often tested here first. If something can survive in the McMurdo Dry Valleys, scientists believe, perhaps life once survived or still survives on the red planet. In fact, robotic prototypes, drilling systems, and life detection technologies have been field tested in these valleys. Researchers study how microbes hide within rocks to shield themselves from radiation, a potential survival strategy that Martian organisms might have also used billions of years ago. The geological history of the Dry Valleys is equally extraordinary.
Some sections may have remained hyper-arid for over 10 million years. Unlike most of Antarctica, which is buried beneath thick ice sheets, the valleys were shaped by ancient glaciers that retreated long ago. What remains is a frozen archive of Earth's climactic history. Sediment layers preserve clues about atmospheric shifts, ice sheet movements, and ancient environmental change.
One of the most remarkable discoveries came from ancient mummified seals found miles inland from the ocean. These seals, some estimated to be over 1,000 years old, somehow wandered into the valleys and became disoriented. Unable to return to the sea, they died and were naturally preserved by the extreme cold and dryness. Their bodies did not decompose in the typical sense. Instead, they slowly desiccated, becoming time capsules of the past. Standing in the McMurdo Dry Valleys is often described as standing on another planet. There is no scent of vegetation, no buzzing insects, no distant animal calls, only the crunch of frozen soil under boots and the whisper of relentless wind. The mountains are stark, jagged and brown against a pale sky. The ground cracks into polygonal patterns formed by freeze-thaw cycles. The silence can feel overwhelming. Yet despite its hostility, this region is one of the most scientifically valuable places on Earth. Climate researchers study how ecosystems respond to minimal moisture input. Geologists analyze rock formations that date back hundreds of millions of years. Astrobiologists simulate extraterrestrial exploration. The valleys are protected under the Antarctic Treaty System, ensuring minimal human impact. Access remains tightly controlled. Only researchers and authorized personnel are allowed entry, typically transported by specialized aircraft from McMurdo Station. There are no tourist facilities, no permanent settlements, and no infrastructure beyond temporary scientific camps. Human presence is seasonal and strictly regulated. Climate change adds a layer of urgency to ongoing research. While the McMurdo Dry Valleys have remained stable for millennia, subtle shifts in temperature and glacial melt patterns are being closely monitored. Even small changes in meltwater flow can dramatically affect the fragile microbial ecosystems that depend on rare liquid water events. For American audiences, the McMurdo Dry Valleys represent more than an Antarctic curiosity. They are a bridge between Earth and space exploration. When NASA engineers design drills to search beneath Martian soil, when scientists model how life could survive extreme drought, when researchers test autonomous rovers, the McMurdo Dry Valleys often serve as the proving ground. Over a century ago, explorers risked their lives to map this alien terrain with little more than wool clothing and wooden sleds. Today, satellites track weather patterns above it, and high-tech sensors probe its frozen ground. Yet the core mystery remains unchanged. How can such a place exist in the middle of Earth's iciest continent? The answer lies in the delicate balance of wind, temperature, elevation, and geological history. But knowing the science does not diminish the awe. If anything, it deepens it. Because here is the paradox. In the coldest continent on Earth lies one of its driest deserts. In the most lifeless-looking valley, life clings invisibly beneath rocks. In the silence of Antarctica, humanity prepares to search for life beyond our planet. More than a century after its discovery, the McMurdo Dry Valleys continue to challenge assumptions. They force us to rethink what a desert looks like. They redefine what survival means. And they remind us that even on a planet we believe fully explored, there are landscapes so strange they might as well belong to another world. In 1911, explorers wondered how such a place could exist. In 2026, scientists ask a different question. If life can endure here, what else might be possible in the universe? The valley has not changed, but our understanding of it and our ambitions because of it certainly have.